All right, you remember the number 216. Well, this dawned on me tonight. Yes, an age of 2,160 years, 216 with the zero, is a concept in astrology known as a great year or astrological age. Each of these 2,160 year intervals corresponds to one of the 12 zodiacal constellations. 12 constellations, 12 tribes. And they are believed to influence cultural and spiritual changes. The age of Aquarius is the current and forthcoming astrological age. Now 216 is coming to light even more. We know that 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. That's 216. And it's interesting that it's 666 because 216 plus its reflection 612 is 828. And then you add it to its reflection one more time. 828 plus 828 is 1656, the year of Noah's flood. 1656 years past Adam. That's from 216, which is 666. And what does it also represent? An age. An age change. That's what the flood, that's the marker was a flood, right? For an age change. There's a massive events in these spiritual, cultural, and earth changes. So that's more unraveling on the number 216. Okay. And we have this connection with the Feast of Trumpets in 216. The last day of the Feast of Trumpets is 924, September 24th. And you go 9 times 24 equals, there we go, 216. And you take it from there. This is pretty big to me. Because, again, like I read, 2160 is considered an astrological age. And we're in Aquarius. But what did Jesus show us when he had the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fishes? 2,000 years of Pisces. Pisces. The astrological sign of Pisces. And the current age now is going to be Aquarius. Some think we're in it now. I think that when the Great Tribulation happens, that's the beginning of Aquarius. It makes sense, right? So 216 is unraveling itself. Its connection with an age, and then its connection with the flood, and now its connection with the beginning of the Great Tribulation, most likely on the Feast of Trumpets. And this all makes sense because 216, as I showed, is 6 times 6 times 6. 216. This number. Now, when we look at it on the Gematria calculator, it makes even more sense. Because all the numbers that come up when you type in the words 216 are not only pointing to 2025, but they're pointing to events that are world-changing, cataclysmic, like the Rapture. So you see the number 99 there, which is the value of rapture and judgment. And then you have 245s, which is absolutely incredible because 45 is the square root of 2025. And also, if you add 45 to its reflection, 54, you come up with 99 again. And so you have rapture and 2025 and judgment all over those numbers. And then you have the number 144, which is another number that is pointing to world-changing cataclysmic events. Because 144, we know that 144,000 are sealed in their foreheads in the Great Tribulation. And also 144 stands for time. 6 days of creation, 24 hours a day. 6 times 24, 144. Also, there's 24 hours in a day. 60 minutes in 1 hour, 24 times 60, is 1440. So 144 is time, and time in Hebrew Gematria equals 144, as I've shown. So this is all pointing, the number 216, it's a cataclysmic number. And it makes sense also because 216 is a value of 6 times 6 times 6, 3 sixes. So it makes sense that it is a number that is pointing to cataclysmic events, or linked to cataclysmic events, and the numbers, even the value of the words 216, point and allude to cataclysmic events. And I've shown you in the movie Pi how they were talking about the number 216 and its significance. It is, and it's an age. So it makes sense. If an astrological age is being changed, then there would be major significant events. The number 216 is a special number for several reasons. It's the cube of 6. It's related to the number of possible outcomes when rolling 3 dice, and it has connections to symbolic meanings in Cabala and Christianity. Mathematical properties. Perfect cube. 216 is the cube of 6 times 6 times 6. This makes it a perfect cube. The cube, see the cube, like the black cube, right? Like in Islam, that's the word Kaaba, and then the golden cube in the Bible that comes out, New Jerusalem. The cube. There's a lot to do with this cube business, okay? 216 can be expressed as the sum of 3 cubes. In Cabala, 216 is the numerical value of Gavura, the 5th Sephirot, which is the 5th aspect of God, they say. In the Kabbalistic tree of life, it's also the sum of the numerical values of God's 72 hidden names. In Christianity, 216 is symbolically associated with the mark of the beast, as seen in the Left Behind series. Now, this is interesting in the dice. 216 is a number of possible outcomes when rolling 3 6-sided dice. And that reminds me of the barcode on everything. There's 3 cubes. That's interesting. This is a movie Cube. I actually like this movie. But I started noticing all kinds of things. And it's about these people who wake up in this machine. It's like a big cube, and there's a bunch of cubes in it. And it's all about numbers and other things like that. But they flash the number 666 a bunch of times. Or at least a couple times. And 666 is a perfect cube. And it's my point is that it's all the theme is around a cube and cubes and being trapped in a cube. And then there's so much symbology and other things in this movie. But it really brought, this number 216 brought this movie Cube to my mind. If you can't go watch it, maybe you'll catch some of the things. I enjoy this movie. It's a good, very interesting concept, but there's a lot of concepts in it. But either way, this number 216 is a code. It's a link. In our DNA, we have the code 10565. This is the spaces on the sulfuric bridges that hold our DNA together. And it spells out Yahweh, the 10th letter in the alphabet in Hebrew, the 5th letter in Hebrew, the 6th letter in Hebrew, and the 5th letter again in Hebrew is YHVH, Yod He Vav He. And we have this over and over and over in our DNA. Now, another amazing thing about this is if you multiply 10565, you get 1500, which is the size of New Jerusalem, 1,500 square miles, a golden cube in our DNA. So we are New Jerusalem, and New Jerusalem is New Jerusalem. And you have to understand that everything is connected. So 1,500 in our DNA. And that is New Jerusalem. Now, if you take the amount of verses in the book of Genesis, because God declares the end from the beginning. He is the end in the beginning. So in Genesis, we have interestingly, 1,533 verses in the book of Genesis. So we have the 1,500, but we have 33 on top. Well, what is 33? That's the age of Jesus, when he died, buried, and rose from the grave. So we have symbolically New Jerusalem at the age of Jesus in the amount of verses in the book of Genesis. You see this? Now watch what I'm going to do. Watch what I'm going to do. Remember, this is connected to our DNA, right? 10 times 5 times 6 times 5. Watch this. So if you take 1,500 divided by 33, you are going to be blown away right now, because the value is 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. What is 45? 45 is the square root of 2025. Everything is pointing to 2025. In our DNA, the revealing of Christ in us, the hope of glory, New Jerusalem in us. And 45 plus its reflection, 54, is 99, Rapture. Look at this. Look at this. And it's connected with the amount of verses in the book of Genesis, the beginning. And Jesus said, I am the beginning. And this right here is the end. He is the beginning and the end. Christ in us, the hope of glory. 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45. If you take 10 plus 5, you get 15. Okay. And then 6 plus 5, you get 11. So you have 15 and 11. Well, let's multiply that. 15 times 11 equals the special number 165. Well, first of all, you have Genesis 6:15 right there. The dimensions of Noah's Ark, which when you multiply them twice, equals 2025 with 8 zeros. But also 165 is very special, because if you add it to its reflection just once, 561, look at this, 726, harpazo, caught up, what we call the rapture. That's pretty amazing to me. Then we go back, because we have from our DNA 11 and 15. If we just add them, 11 plus 15, we get 26. Well, the value of God in simple gematria is 26. Jesus started his ministry at 26 AD. And our DNA adds up to 26. 10 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5. And the year changes from 2025 to 2026 at the Feast of Trumpets, which most likely is where the rapture is. 21 times 60, get this, 1260, exactly 42 months. That is crazy. 42-month Great Tribulation, totally connected with 2160, the Cataclysmic Number.